Hi everyone, James Arter here. I hope you're doing good. Now, using drum room mics can be really useful to make drums sound bigger and to give them more sustain. But sometimes you're not able to record them in an ideal environment. So perhaps you might be recording them in a small room, or perhaps when you're recording them, you just ran out of mics or ran out of channels and you couldn't put up any room mics. I'm going to show you what you can do to create a fake room so you can use that in your mix. Before we get started, please do that lovely thing where you hit the like if you like the video, of course, hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to be notified of upcoming videos, and also if you want some free stuff, then sign up to the mailing list below and I'm going to send you some goodies. It will be an EQ cheat sheet as well as some one-shot drum hits that you can use in your mixes. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got some recorded drums, and when I recorded them, it was done in quite a small room. Although I have set up a couple of room mics, I wasn't going to get very much out of that room because it was just so small. So let's just have a quick listen to what the drums sound like as they are. Okay, sound pretty good, but for this track, I'd really like to have a bigger room. So I'll show you what you need to do. Firstly, what I want to do is take the overhead tracks. Now, this is where you're going to get most of the sound from. So from those, we're going to take a send and make sure it's pre-fader. There we go. Let's make that a stereo one, of course. And if we solo that auxiliary and start sending the overheads into it. Now, the main reason we're starting with the overheads is because the sound that you're going to get from a drum room is more going to be the distance. It's going to be the overall sound of the kit. You're not going to get the direct mics in there as much as you would if you were, of course, micing it directly. With this is all about trying to give the drums a space of their own. But one good thing about having multiple mics set up is you can choose to put in a few different things. So we'll start with these overheads. And one good thing is to also set the panning. If you're using Logic like this, one thing you can do, if you right click on that send and choose independent pan, then it's not going to be paying any attention to the panning you have on the faders. Now, if you right click again, send on faders, and you can choose how you want the panning to be. And in fact, whilst we're here, this is a really good way to choose what's going into this auxiliary. So we've got the overheads there. And then what you can do, you can pop in a little bit of the snare and the kick if you like, but I would just go for the snare because that's usually what you're going to be favouring in a drum room. So we'll do the same again, make sure that's pre-fader. Okay, I've just nudged in just a tiny little bit of the snare there. Now, if you do have any room mics, like I did set up a few, but they don't sound great, like I said, because it's a small room. You can pop some of those in as well, just to help to give it a little bit more length. I'm not going to go any further. I'm not going to put any more in just because I'm going to presume that you didn't have any room mics at all. Right, so now you've got that set up. Now you need to basically put the drums in a room. That's essentially what we're doing. So on that auxiliary, insert a reverb plugin. Now, I'd highly suggest trying to find something which sounds like a room. So specifically, if you can get a convolution reverb, that's going to be the best way to go, because essentially with that it's an actual sampled room. So it's going to be the closest thing you're going to get. If you're using Logic, you could just use Space Designer if you like. That's really fantastic. Other options would be something like VerbSuite Classics by Slate Digital. There's some really great ones in there. Another great option would be Seventh Heaven by Liquid Sonics. Both really fantastic. Okay, I'm going to use the Slate one for now. And like I said, just try and pick something which really is a room. In this case, I'm going to go with the Bricasti BM7. And let's choose one. Let's go with Longwood Room. Now, in general, you want the decay to be around a second. So there you go, got 1 second there, or maybe a little bit less, but you can vary it. Just don't make sure it isn't too long. That's kind of the main thing. Also, if you have the option, add a little bit of pre-delay. Anywhere between 30 and 50 milliseconds can be really handy because it just helps to give the reverb a little bit of delay, essentially. So the thing with the room mics is they're far away from the drum kit most of the time. So you actually get the distance, and that's what makes things sound big. So you want to make this feel like you're actually pulling the mics away from the drum kit a little bit. So if we listen to that. Sounds like they're in a room, sounds quite aggressive at the moment. So one thing you can do is EQ it a little bit. A lot of time is take away some of the highs because as you can hear, you're getting a lot of cymbals in there. And in general, if you make things darker, it's going to feel like they're further away anyway. So that's sort of what you want to do in this case. So I'm going to just roll off the top. We're going to about 12K at the moment. And you can also roll off a little bit at the bottom as well if you're getting a little bit too much of the kick drum in there. And now this is also the point, you can just tailor it a little bit. If you're getting, like I said, if you're getting a bit too much cymbal in there, this is a good point to maybe just give it a little bit of an adjustment. Most of the time it's going to be around 3 to 5K. If you find that, and then just give it a little bit of a dip. And now when you've done that, you've essentially got a room. So let's bounce that out. I'm just going to set up the locators. Now, depending on which DAW you're using, there are a number of ways to do this. If you're using Pro Tools, for example, you could just click the bus, hit commit, and it will bounce it out for you. With Logic, it's a little bit different. I've actually done a video specifically about this, but I'll just show you again. If you right click that auxiliary you've made, hit create track, it's going to appear over here in your tracks panel. And now you can either solo that and hit bounce, or just select it, hit file, export, and then you've got one track as audio file. Make sure that you're choosing add resulting files to project browser, because then it's going to import it back into your project. Now, once you've bounced that out, you can import it back into your project. So as you can see, here it is, just beneath the drums. Let's have just a little listen to that on its own. Sounds like drums in a room. And now what we're going to do is we'll just slowly bring that in to the drums. And there you go. Now, once you've got that drum room, there's so much that you can actually do with it. In fact, I've done a whole video which is talking about mixing drum room mics. So I'm going to put that up here and you can go and check it out. Now, I hope that was of use. If you did find it useful, hit the old like, hit the subscribe, and you'll be notified of any upcoming videos. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again.